Hi, good morning, Neil. Sean here. Nice to have your company as ever. Now, yes, I can see you're wondering, where are you, Neil? This doesn't look like the flower beds outside that pub. Oh no, we've gone a lot posher today. Absolutely. We thought we'd take you on a treat. And the beauty about this, you see, is that it's not going to cost you anything because I'm going to take you on a right royal treat inside the Queen's Gallery at Buckingham Palace in the heart of London for a brand new exhibition. Holbein at the Queen's Gallery, a wonderful painter steeped in history, and we'll meet a wonderful lady who's going to tell us all about exactly why he's so relevant today, and of course some of the stories behind some of those very famous, but of course scandalous portraits. Do you fancy coming in? Why not? Let's head in. Now, that sounds a very important job. What's your role in this particular emporium?
I'm one of the curators of Prints and Drawings, so I'm one of the curators who looks after the Prints and Drawings collection.
Was that always something that you wanted to do as a child? I'm always fascinated how people find, because you're also passionate about it, which is lovely, you know, but is it something that you started out and thought, did you find your vision very early?
I think it's a dream job, and I think I've always been interested in the Tudors from school, really, Henry VIII, and that's, you know, that amazing time. So it's a dream to be able to work with the Holbeins, absolutely.
I love the way you mentioned the Tudors, because when I was at school, I was fascinated with medieval and the Tudors. Yeah. And I felt that they were a period that was almost as innovative as the Victorian period. But when you look back, you know far more than me, but when you look back, it actually was quite a depressing time for a lot of people if you didn't have, like the world today, money.
Yes. Well, it's what Holbein is in search of.
Yeah.
When he comes to England, Erasmus says he's looking for angels, that coinage. He's looking for money. But what you see here is the Tudor elite, the people who could afford a portrait from Holbein.
So if you have never been to an exhibition like this before, and Holbein's brand new to you, and he was to me, it's all thanks to the brilliant Royal Collection Trust. I thought, oh, this is interesting. And then you start to delve, don't you? And you become really hooked. What can they expect and what should they come away from this particular exhibition with?
I think that people should enjoy the works of art. We're putting them on display to celebrate Holbein's brilliance as an artist. And I would love it if people would come and look closely and really enjoy that skill and that brilliance, and enjoy looking those figures of the Tudor court, people like Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour that we've read about, looking them in the eye and finding out more about them.
When we think about Anne Boleyn and Jane Seymour, because I mean, I find this bit fascinating. Their names have transcended into modern world, haven't they? You know, like a lot of names of that era didn't, but they are kind of, it sounds a bit tabloid to say, but they were power women. Before power women were power women, as it were, but an underground power woman is what I feel.
Well, I think if you look around the walls, you get a number of really powerful women, and there were powerful women at the Tudor court. So if you see the Duchess of Suffolk next door, she was one of the great landowners. She inherited a great deal of Lincolnshire. You see a number of women who were intellectuals on the walls. So Mary Duchess of Richmond and Somerset, Mary Shelton. It's through them that we know Thomas Wyatt's poetry. Yeah. Lady Elliot is shown in a pair with her husband, Thomas Elliot. She was also an author. So a lot of really sparky, intelligent, powerful women on the walls here.
And Henry VIII is the image behind you that we all know. Yeah. But actually, and I don't mean this unkindly, but he was a lot better looking earlier on, wasn't he? So you could understand the lure, not only because he's the king, but the lure of these ladies and the fact that he was able to secure so much interest, shall we say.
I think Holbein really shows us Henry's ambition for power and his ambition to project his power through his image. So I think looking at the portraits of Henry is fascinating, and we've got a section in which we look at different artists and their portraits of Henry, and then when you look at the way Holbein shows him, you see how he is making this man command the space around him, absolutely.
What was Henry's and Holbein's relationship? Was it a good one?
We have no documents to tell us. It's absolutely fascinating. So much of Holbein's time in England is unrecorded. So many of the things we want to know are enigmas, but that's half the fun, trying to work it out.
I'm guessing that they must have got up the fact that he was able to get access to do this.
Yes.
You know, so you have to, as you said, pick the pieces together and go, you couldn't have got in there if you weren't that friendly. So
I think it must have been his skill, and
Yeah.
that's it. What is apparent throughout the exhibition, just how brilliant he is as an artist. And I think it was his skill that won him commissions, and the increasing commissions from different sections of the court. He must have come to royal attention. So it's his brilliance as an artist that creates his success.
finally, which piece, I know this is going to be difficult, but if you were coming in and you were in a rush, which piece would you head to first and say, don't miss this?
Goodness. I would say look as much as possible, because every single work is wonderful, but in the Green Gallery, look at William Reskimer and just spend a bit of time looking at the drawing and the finished painting and thinking about how Holbein used the two to create that incredible image of this man about whom we know otherwise very little. It's an amazing image of a Tudor courtier, and it's a joy to look at, like all of them.
I've just learned something from you, because I never thought about the drawing and the painting.
Yes.
You know,
yes,
you always just assume that
yeah,
they paint the thing.
No,
Wow.
the drawing is important, and people can find out more about that in the rooms we have exploring Holbein's technique, the way he made his works, the conservation analysis that has gone on.
It's lovely that this Holbein exhibition is here, because we've lived with these pictures for years. And I remember I was interested at school, but I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
And you know, we all know these portraits.
Yes,
And you go, yeah,
yes.
I know that.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing it alive again in 2023, right through to 2024.
It's
Absolutely
a pleasure.
thrilling.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.